Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining our family information session today. This is the beginning of your pre-K journey, and we are here to answer any burning questions that you may have and provide information. My name is Kristen Paler. I'm the NC Pre-K manager at Durham's Partnership for Children, and I am so happy to be speaking with you all today. All right, so we do have some language choices for everyone to choose from. At the bottom of your screen, you will see your Zoom toolbar. To the right, there will be a picture of a globe that is labeled Interpretation. Click Interpretation and select the language you would like to hear the webinar in. Please note, if you do not select a language, you will not be able to hear the webinar.
Elección de idioma. En la parte inferior de su pantalla, usted verá la barra de herramientas de Zoom. A la derecha habrá una imagen de un globo etiquetada como interpretación. Haga clic en interpretación y seleccione el idioma en el que le gustaría escuchar. Luego haga clic en silenciar audio original. Por favor, tenga en cuenta que si usted no selecciona un idioma, usted no podrá escuchar.
All right, so we do have some webinar housekeeping rules. We are recording this webinar. A link to this webinar will be posted on our website at www.durhamprek.org. This is a listen-only webinar, so you will be muted while it is in progress. You can ask questions by typing them in the Q&A box. We will have a Q&A session at the end of the webinar. If you would prefer to ask your questions directly to the panelists, please raise your hand and we will allow you to ask your questions at the end. All right, so let's go over the agenda for today. We will have introductions, overview of Durham Pre-K. We'll talk about required documents, the Durham Pre-K application, and that will consist of a walkthrough of completing an application, what to expect after submitting an application. We'll talk about site preferences, site lists, wrap care, scholarships. Then we'll go into a notification timeline, and then we will get to our Q&A session. All right, so let's talk about introductions. Today on our call, as our panelists, we have Early Years, Durham's Partnership for Children, Durham Public Schools, Durham County, and FCR, Families and Community Rising, Head Start, and Early Head Start. Also, just a reminder, please put your questions in the Q&A box. One of our panelists will reach out to you and answer your questions. All right, so let's get into an overview of Durham Pre-K. Durham Pre-K is Durham's commitment for high-quality early childhood education. It is available for all 4-year-olds in Durham County. And to apply, your child must be 4 years old by August 31st 2026, and they must be a Durham County resident. Also, Durham Pre-K is a free for all families within an income at or below 450% of the federal poverty level. Families with a higher income will pay a sliding scale monthly fee based on their income and family size. All right, so why pre-K? Pre-K increases the likelihood of reading at grade level by third grade. It also increases development and use of social skills. It also is a play-based learning, which is an effective way for children to learn and to prepare them for kindergarten and to develop those social emotional skills. Also, each Durham Pre-K site must be a five-star child care center. They also must have a lead teacher or lead teachers with or working towards a North Carolina birth to kindergarten teaching's license, and they must receive technical assistance, professional development, coaching, and mentoring. So let's talk about the Durham Pre-K application. The Durham Pre-K application allows families to complete one application to be considered for all publicly funded pre-K seats in Durham County. That is, those classrooms are Durham Public Schools classrooms, Durham Head Start classrooms, and community-based license programs. Also, the 2026-2027 application opens on Monday, March 2nd, 2026 at 10 a.m. You'll hear that multiple times during the presentation today. Applications will be available online on the Durham Pre-K website at www.durhamprek.org/dpk-applications. You must submit a completed application with all supporting documents and complete your online ASQ developmental screening. All right, so let's talk about the Durham Pre-K screening or the ASQ. The Ages and Stages questionnaire is a developmental screening tool used to determine eligibility and placement. ASQs will open on March 2nd, 2026. Applications will not be considered complete if you do not fill out the ASQ. The details can be found on durhamprek.org/families/enrollment. For any questions or assistance regarding the ASQ, please contact Durham_PreK at dpsnc.net. All right, so let's talk about Durham Public Schools. For DPS eligibility, students are placed based on academic need. The ASQ developmental screening is used for placement. Eligible students are assigned based on the district's region-based model. Placement is made through the DPS OEE only. Location preference will be considered, but are not guaranteed. Pre-K placement applies only to the current school year. Kindergarten requires a separate enrollment through Durham Public Schools. Transportation is not currently offered at any DPS site, but please note that with the exception of the Whitted School, RAP Care is currently not offered. All right, so DPS has various programs. The students that are placed within the Durham Pre-K application are placed in inclusive classrooms through Title I, NC Pre-K, and DPK. The DPS 3's inclusive program is a separate application process. Please reach out to the DPS Office of Early Education for more information at 919-560-2119. DPS Montessori Pre-K is a separate application process through Durham Public Schools Lotteries application. Applications were due by January 30th, 2026. Please reach out to the Office of Students Assignments for more information at 919-560-2059. All right, so let's get into the documents that you'll need. The required documents for a Durham Pre-K application are proof of birth, proof of address, proof of income, and it must be 1 month's worth of the entire household and annual income. And other documents may be requested when completing the application. And if you need examples, please visit the Families Frequently Asked Question page on the Durham Pre-K website. All right, so let's deeper dive the documents needed. So for the child's age, we can use the birth certificate, medical records, or valid passport. And if you are a legal guardian or legal custodian or foster care, you may need to provide that proof. Now, for the address, you may use your utility bill. It can be either energy, water, or gas. Or you can use the valid lease with a signature, a valid driver's license with the current address, or your mortgage statement. If living with relatives, a lease or utility bill and a letter stating that the family resides at that address must be signed by the relative. Now, when discussing the income, you may use your pay stub, but it must be consecutive. You also can use a letter from your employer with the hourly rate listed, and it must be signed and dated. We will need your tax information. If you have your SNAP benefits letter, you may use that. If you are receiving unemployment, you may use that letter or your unemployment benefits. If you are on child support or have child support information, you may use that letter. And if you do not have those things, you may use the statement of no income. All right. So now we're going to get into doing the pre-K application walkthrough. The first page that you will arrive at is the durhamprek.org page, and this is what you'll see. You will see enroll your child, and then you'll see a crayon that says apply now. Once you click the crayon, you will be transferred to a page that states Durham Pre-K application. Now, when you scroll down on March 2nd, you will see the 26-27 application. Currently, we are still taking applications for the 25-26 school year, which is what you see now. But on March 2nd at 10 a.m., you will see the 2026-2027 application. You will then click Apply Now. Once you click Apply Now, you will be given information. And as you can see, you are able to change the language. You will be able to see the 25-26, or excuse me, the 26-27 Durham Pre-K application. You will have an introduction that talks about what Durham Pre-K is, and you will also have important information. It will talk about creating an account. It will also talk about submitting documentation and the ages and stages questionnaire, along with the sliding scale fee, and it will have additional information in case you get stuck and need help. It should take you about approximately 20 to 30 minutes to complete this application. All right. So I'm actually already in my application, but I'm going to log out so you can see the process. You will need to click register. Once you click register, you will need to put in your first name, your last name, a valid email address, and create a password. Once you have put that information in, you will need to create an account. All right, since I already have an account, as you all saw, I will now log in. Okay, so once you have created your account and you are in your application, you will get some welcome information and some helpful hints, excuse me, helpful hints and helpful tips that will help you along the way. There will be demo videos along the way embedded in the application in case you get stuck. Please be sure you have verified your email address as you will be receiving crucial information. Please continue to check your email and also check your spam for important DPK information or notification and next steps in the placement process. There will be multiple tasks to complete as you progress through the application. And depending on your application response, please carefully read the instructions for each task. As you complete each task, be sure to click the green Mark as Complete button. When a task is complete, you will see a green check mark, and should you have a half circle, then that will mean you will need additional information. Once all tasks have a green check mark, you will need to click the green Submit button. And there is a video at the bottom that discusses the application, just in case you need some additional help. All right, so let's get into the application. The first thing you will need to do is the eligibility form. And you will need to put this information in to ensure that you are a Durham County resident, and you will be able to check your address if you are not sure. And also, you will need to check the child's date of birth. It must be in between the dates that will be provided on the screen. All right. So let's look at the child's information. For the child's information, the first two questions will be asked towards if you were receiving help from a staff member from the DPK staff. It will also ask what language you are being screened in. If you are being screened in English or Spanish, please click that. If you are screened in another language, please click other and specify the language. Next, you will put in your child's date of birth. Once you put in your child's date of birth, you will put in their last, first, and middle name, and you will put in then your child's address. Next, you will put in your child's gender. Then it will ask, is this child a U.S. citizen? Now, please note, this does not determine eligibility, but leaving blank limits the program's options that you will be offered. Next, it will ask about your child's race, and you will click what pertains to you. Then it will ask about your child's ethnicity. It will also ask your home language, and if you do not see your home language in this list, please click Other and type in your home language. Then it will ask, does your child speak English? And you will need to click one of the four options. You will need to click either all the time, knows no other language, most of the time, some of the time, and not at all, does not speak English. The next section will discuss the pre-K day and if you need wrap care or before and after care. Is the availability of before and after care at the pre-K location required for your family? So if you need before and after care, you will need to click yes. Now we will discuss additional preschool children. If you have more than one child that you are applying for during this year, you will need to do multiple applications. However, please be sure to indicate the number of children in the questions below. Complete all tasks and submit the first application. Additional applications will be open for you by our DPK team. An email notification will be sent when the additional application is open and ready for completion by you. You will have the opportunity to reuse the information from your first application without having to re-enter duplicate information. And each child will need his or her own unique proof of date of birth. Now let's get into, are you applying for more than one child? Do you have another child that you want to submit an application for? If you click yes, a box will come up to ask for how many children you will be submitting the application for and the name of the additional children. You will put in the first, last name, and the date of birth. And if you need multiple lines, you will click add another line. And at the end, it will ask you, how did you hear about our Durham pre-K program? And you will click what applies to your family. Once you are done answering all of the information on this page, you will click Mark as complete. Now, because I did not include all the information, I received an error. And as you can see, we have a half circle here letting us know that we need to go back and put in additional information. All right, so let's go into uploading your child's proof of age. You will need to attach a copy of at least one of the following as proof of the child's age. You will need to put in the child's birth certificate. You may also use the child's passport. You may use the child's valid state ID, but the application address should match the ID. You may use a record of faith initiation. You may use refugee identity certification. You may also use the official medical records, such as your immunization records, and you may also use verification of fact sheet, but that should only be used if none of the above forms are available. Please translate any documents if they are in a language other than English. You will be able to attach the file here, and once you have attached the file, you can click Mark as complete. All right, So now we're going to get into the household information. Now, this information is going to talk about what you are going through specifically. The first question will ask, is your family in a regular and safe, sufficient living space each night? Then it will ask, please indicate if your child is in any of the following temporary or transitional living situations with a friend or family or in a shelter, car, or hotel. It will also ask you, are you receiving any refugee services? Now we'll go into emergency contact information for your child, and this must not be the legal guardian. If you click yes, a box will come up that will allow you to put in the emergency contacts information. You are able to put in their name, the relationship to the child, phone number, or an alternative phone number as well. And if you need to add an additional box for another person, you are able to click this box here and another application will show up. Now, let's list all of the household family members. When this is done, you will need to put how many children are under the age of 18 living in the household. You will need to put in the numerical value. So if you have 3 children living in the household, you will need to put 3 if they are under the age of 18. When you get to this point, you will need to put in all the children that live in the household that are under 18 in these boxes. You will start out with the pre-K child by putting in their name, date of birth, name of school slash education program that child is attending, and the relationship to the pre-K child. If you have more than one child in the household, you will need to click Add Another Line. Another line will appear, and if you need to add in another child, you may click that box again, and another set of boxes will appear. Next, we will get into how many adults are living in the household, and an adult is someone that is over the age of 18. If there are more than one adult in the household, you need to put how many are in there in this box. If there are mom, dad, and a grandparent in the household, please include everyone. And you will need to put in the name, date of birth, relationship to the pre-K child. And if you need to add more spaces, you will click Add Another Line. Once you are done, you will need to click Mark as Complete, and you will either see the half circle or the green check mark to let you know if you need to add additional information. Next, let's talk about the child's health information. The first question that is asked is the child potty trained? Please click yes or no, or if those two answers do not clarify your situation, please put in what is going on currently with your child in potty training. Does your child have health insurance? If yes, click yes. If no, click no. But if you click yes, you will need to list the insurance that your child is receiving. You will need to put in the company type and the county. Does the child have a primary doctor or pediatrician? If yes, click yes, and if no, click no. If you click yes, you will need to put in the child's primary doctor or pediatrician's information. And does your child have a dentist? If your child does have a dentist, please put in the dentist information in this box. Next, it will ask, does the child have a chronic health condition? If your child does have a chronic health condition, please outline it in this box and you will need to provide additional documentation. Now, for this section, it is going to talk about your child's education needs. If your child has an active IEP, you will need to click the first button. And if so, you will need to upload the IEP to your application. If your child has an active service plan, you will also need to click this, or you will need to click this button and provide that information. If those options do not pertain to your child or your situation, then you will click the third option, which is my child does not have either of the above plans and there are no developmental concerns. And lastly, if your child is being referred or if you have concerns, please put your concerns or the referral in this box. The last question that you will come to on this page is, does this child receive special services? And those special services can be outlined as speech or occupational therapy. And if your is receiving those, click yes, and you will need to upload that documentation. Once you are done, you will need to click Mark as complete. The next section we will discuss is your child's education and childcare information. The first question is going to ask, is this child receiving childcare financial assistance? If so, click yes. Is this child on a wait list for a childcare financial assistance? If so, click yes. Is this child currently enrolled in preschool or in a childcare program? If so, click yes. That will provide additional information for our pre-K team. If yes, please indicate the type of care your child currently receives, whether it be a family or a friend, whether it be in a child care center or a family child care home. And if that pertains to you, please put the information in this box here of what child care center they are attending. And this information here talks about if you would like to stay at your child care center or if you would like to be considered for other options. If so, if you would like to stay at your child care center, then please click the first option. I would like to remain there if possible. And if you would like to be considered for other options, please click the second option. Excuse me. All right. Please put in the current address of your child care center. Please put in the date of attendance from when they began to when their child care ended. And lastly, has this child previously attended a preschool or child care program within the past 3 years? If so, click yes, and if not, click no. All right. Next, we will move on to the child's screening information. So, for the 2027 child screening information, the ASQ developmental screening must be completed in order for your application to be reviewed for placement. We strongly encourage you to complete this as soon as possible. Now, for Durham Pre-K, as we stated before, the screening tool is the Ages and Stages questionnaire, and that is to be completed by the parent or legal guardian of each applicant child. Now, some things to note. The ASQ must be completed online by a parent or legal guardian of each applicant using this link here. So, excuse me, it is embedded within your application. Also, completing the ASQ is an important step to ensuring your child is considered for all available program placements, including Durham Public Schools. The ASQ will help determine eligibility for certain programs. Also, please set aside 30 to 40 minutes to answer the questionnaire, as some activities must be completed with your child. To note, you can find additional details by clicking here or in the confirmation email you will receive after completing this task. Now let's talk about ASQ support and assistant information. If you need assistance with the ASQ, we will or there will be in-person screening appointments and options for families with limited internet access or those who have difficulties completing the ASQ. If you are in need of an appointment, you may email Durham_PreK at dpsnc.net for additional information, and you must complete an appointment request form, which you can click within the application. Please give DPS at least 3 business days to respond to your inquiry. If you request an in-person appointment, your child should accompany you to ensure accuracy of the ASQ. Now, once it is completed, you will get to the point where the application will ask, have you completed the ASQ task? And if so, you will click yes. By marking the task as complete, you indicate that you understand that ASQ screening should be completed as soon as possible for your DPK application to be considered complete. And once you're done, you'll need to click Mark as complete. If you need help or any additional guidance, please give DPS Office of Early Learning a call at 919-560-3530. All right. Now we're getting to the end of the application. You will get to the page of certification and acknowledgement. For this page, please read all the items below carefully. Acknowledge each statement by clicking on the checkbox to, to the left. At the end of the application, you will have the opportunity to download your application to retain a copy of the certification page. This is what this page will look like in the information that you will need to read through. You will also need to sign at the bottom that you have, in fact, read through everything and completed your application. And once done, you will need to click Mark as complete. Once you have clicked Mark as complete and you see check boxes all on your side, green check boxes, you will now be able to click the green submit button and submit your application. Now, let's get back to our presentation. All right, so what to expect after submitting the application? So what to do? Well, first you will need to verify your account through SurveyMonkey Apply to receive notifications and updates on your application. Phone calls from the Durham PreK Help Desk will only be made if we are unable to reach you via email. Please enter in no reply at surveymonkeyapply.com into your email contacts to make sure our emails are not labeled as junk. So, notifications. All notifications are sent via email. So, it is very important that families verify their email after applying. A few things you may receive an email about are missing documentation, your application moving forward in our review process, completing your site preference, your placement, and phone calls will only be made from our Durham Pre-K help desk if we are unable to reach a family via email. No placement notification will be made over the phone. So what to do? You are able to sign up to receive text messages from our Durham Pre-K team to receive updates about the application process and upcoming events. Text messages will alert families when placement has begun,
Hmm.
what is happening with the application at that moment, or any additional information you may need. To sign up, text DPK to 1-833-773-5338. All right, so let's talk about site preferences. So, to look up your site list, a current site list of our pre-K sites is available on our www.durhamprek.org/families/site location page. I encourage all families, even at the beginning of the process, to go ahead and begin looking at sites that you anticipate that you would like your child to join. Some sites have virtual tours available on their website. We strongly encourage you to schedule a tour at any of our sites by calling the site directly. Site preference selection will be based on your application's eligibility criteria. So let's talk about wrap care, which wrap care is before and after care. It is provided separately from the preschool instructional day. It is not available at every pre-K site. Costs can vary by pre-K site, and hours of operations and fees are determined by pre-K site, and they also may change. So who can help with cost of wrap care? Currently, we have early years wrap scholarships and DSS childcare vouchers. And just for additional information, visit the Durham Pre-K website for wrap care site details. You may visit that site at durhamprek.org/families/site locations/wrap care. All right, so early years wrap scholarships. So here are the requirements. A child must have an accepted pre-K seat. The pre-K site must offer wrap care services, and the parent/guardian must meet full-time eligibility defined as employed a minimum of 30 hours per week, enrolled in school full-time, or a combination of employment and school. And here's how you apply. You must complete the early years wrap care interest form. Submit all required documentation, and the existing pre-K application is used for the initial eligibility screening. And the wrap scholarship notifications should be shared by mid-August. And something that is important to note, the pre-K child cannot be receiving DSS child care subsidy. All right, so let's get into the timeline. The application opens on March 2nd, 2026 at 10 a.m. After submitting your application, the application is moving through our pre-K review process. Parents will receive email notification as the application moves through our process and or if there is any missing documentation. Submit a complete application and ASQ developmental screening to be considered for all seats. Your application is under review until placement begins, unless you hear from our staff that you are missing documents. All right, application appointments. Application appointments will be available starting in March. Families can choose between in-person or virtual appointments. There are limited evening appointments available, but you will need to reach out for that information. Scheduling an application appointment can be done by calling 1-833-773-5338. You may also text that number, and you can also email the pre-K at earlyyearsnc.org. All right. We will be having another information session in the spring that discusses preferences, and we invite you to join us again. The family information session in the spring will cover transition to pre-K, placement notification, and a typical day in pre-K. If you have suggestions for our next info session, please be sure to complete our survey to let us know your thoughts and topics you would like to discuss. Thank you so much for joining us today. Please visit www.durhamprek.org for more information, or you can call 1-833-PREK-EDU, which is 1-833-773-5338. We would love to hear your feedback, and you are able to scan the QR code. Next, we will move into our Q&A session. And if you have any questions, you may be able to come off mute and ask your questions, or you can continue to put them in the Q&A box.
Hello. I don't, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. I have a quick question about we my son is eventually going to get evaluated for maybe being in the spectrum, and we do want to start him on pre-K. I just wanted to know if there's a way in case he does get evaluated into being in the spectrum. Does pre-K have like special programs for it? How does that work?
So Durham Public Schools has an exceptional children's program. I'm not sure if that's what you're referring to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can give you a phone number. We have a child find coordinator that you first contact to set up a referral, and you go through an evaluation process
Okay.
with our clinicians, and then if your child is eligible. They'll create a plan and, discuss services and what that would look like for your child.
Okay. Can I have that number?
Sure. Our child find coordinator's name is Leslie Green, and it's 919-560-3933.
560.
3933.
All right. Thank you
And
so
she
much.
has an extension of 28246.
28246.
Yeah, she can help you get started with that process.
Okay. Sounds great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hi, I was looking for Hope Valley Elementary on the site to see like what kind of wraparound care they offer, and I was wondering when the site will be updated. The website will be updated with all of the information for the sites available for 26, 27.
Houghton Valley should be listed on the Durham Pre-K website as one of our sites because it was a current site this school year. However, none of our Durham Public Schools sites have wrap care, only the Whitted School.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
And to add to that question, this is what we call an RFA year. And so the sites that are going to be approved as a new site for next year will not probably be added to the website until about May. So you may want, and this is why they were asking for the next info session. So it may not be updated until right close to your site selection.
And then does registration for the 2006, 2007 year open in on May 2nd or March 2nd?
It will open on March 2nd at 10 a.m.
Okay, and then that's when you would also choose your preferences for sites.
No, ma'am, that will not be available at that time.
Oh, I see.
Right. The site selection process is a different application on our end, but once everything has been approved, it should be ready by the time we get ready to seat the applications or to seat the children, but it will not be open on March 2nd. No, ma'am.
I see. So it's like two phases, like general application for pre-K, and then later in the spring, it's the location applications.
Right.
Okay, thank you. That makes sense.
And just to kind of share, it's a vetting process, so it's not a one and done. It's a process. So there's a lot of things we have to make sure, especially if it's a new site, we have to go monitor the classrooms. We have to confirm teacher credentials. Want to make sure that you're getting the best quality. So there's a lot that goes on when we're selecting new sites for the next year. And so we want to make sure we do our due diligence so that when you get ready to select your site, you get the best that we have to offer.
My question was, my daughter is at RN Harris, and so when I do the application for my son on the second phase, would it be a part, would I be able to select, she'll be in kindergarten next year. Would I be able to select RN Harris so they could be together?
Once we approve the sites, we don't know them right now, but to
Okay.
qualify for Durham Public Schools, they do, and I should let Durham Public Schools answer that too. But the child would have to qualify for Durham Public Schools first. It's not an
Okay.
automatic one and done thing.
Okay.
They do like to put siblings together, but the sibling that's coming in has to academically qualify for services for Durham Public Schools, and then they look at where you are living and
Okay.
your preference.
Okay. Thank you.
Miss Maisha, you should be on mute.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah,
That's okay.
so I'm gonna piggyback off the question. So basically, just so I can make sure I have a clear understanding. So basically, we'll fill out the application, that's like the initial application, and then the second phase of the application is getting approved for whichever location that you desire.
Yes.
Okay. And I also have a question. So recently I submitted an application, but I was trying to get my child into school currently, and I think there was like a little miscommunication. So I also want to be clear on that as well because my daughter, she doesn't start school. Well, she doesn't turn 5 until October of 2026. So basically, she will not be eligible for pre-K if I wanted to try to get her into school as soon as possible.
Um, your daughter would be able to attend school for the 25-26 school year, but actually, do you mind allowing us to give you a call to talk about your specific situation?
Yes, I
All
don't
right.
mind. That's fine.
Um,
I don't know
if you
which number
could,
you all have on file.
You can actually call our help desk, the 1-833-773-5338
Mm-hmm.
number.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and anyone from our help desk will be able to assist you specifically.
Because and I'm sorry, I just want to add. So yesterday when I did speak to someone, they told me it wasn't eligible. So it was like a miscommunication somewhere. So I don't know if I'm gonna still talk to the same lady, but she did tell me I did call yesterday.
Gotcha. Do you mind chatting the one of the panelists your personal information?
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello? Did it work?
Hi, yes, you are off mute.
Sorry, guys.
That's all right.
I was just asking kind of to piggyback what someone else had asked too. So I just want to make sure that I've got it right. I've been taking notes. So we apply through this application, we apply for eligibility for the pre-K sites, period. And then if we are eligible, will we then receive information on the application to submit our preferences for our child? Or
Yes.
like, is there a date that's already in place for us to, like, do we already know when that application will be open?
I think I'm going to break your question down into parts. So
Thank you. Sorry.
when the application opens on March 2nd, you will be able to apply and put in all of your information. It will go to our pre-K team. We will score your application and we will then be able to see what you are eligible for. And
Got it.
then in the next information session, we'll talk about different site preferences and eligibility, and we'll talk about what it looks like or what it will look like when you receive the list of
Got it.
schools that you are able to attend based on what we have scored your application to be eligible for.
Got it. Thank you. That's exactly what I needed to know.
You're welcome. Does anyone else have any questions? Yes, Mr. Gregory, you are off mute.
Hey there, it's actually his partner. Hi there.
Hi.
I put my question in the chat. Is it possible for someone to just check the chat? Thank you.
Yes, someone should be answering it soon.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm having a little technical difficulties. I was trying to send someone my number, but I can't seem to find a way to do so.
Do you mind sending me an email at Kristen,
Hold on one
Chris?
second.
Okay, let me know when
Putting
you're
it in.
ready.
Yes, I'm putting it in my notes. It's CHR.
ISTAN
Mhm.
at dpfc.net, and I will be able to reach out to you on Monday.
Okay, and it's CHRISTAN at DPF as in Frank, C as in Charlie.net.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. No problem.
Mute yourself, please. Hi, oh, I'm on the wrong channel. Hi, can everyone hear me? Um, I believe that the chat question that we were requested to review is placement sort of more holistic with the demographics and placement preferences considered together, or is it more first come, first serve? Um, it is based on eligibility and preferences, and if in the event that your preferences are filled or you're not eligible for seats in your preference, then we would look at sites that are within a 5 to 10 mile radius of the address that we have available.
Do we have any other questions? Yes, you may come off mute, Miss Ellis.
Hello, good morning. Will we have access to the Q&A questions that have been asked just as a reference, just in case if, we didn't get a chance to read through everything, or if we may have a question that was already answered later on, or will that be completely unavailable once this call ends?
Yes, you will have access to it. It will be on our durhamprek.org website. It will be a frequently asked page or information that is put up, and you will also have access to the recording today as well.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Do we have any other questions? If not, I know that a lot of information was provided today. So if you have any questions, please reach out to us. Someone from the help desk will be able to answer. You can also find all the information that you need on our durhamprek.org website. If you would like, you're more than welcome to stay on. And if you have any questions or think about any questions, we'll be here to answer. But if you don't have any more questions, you're more than welcome to log off. Thank you all so much for attending our webinar today, and we look forward to servicing you all in the upcoming pre-K school year. You all have a wonderful weekend.